going live. I'm gonna put some tape over the number so I don't distract myself like I usually do. Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna stick this right here. Okay, great, perfect. Let's start now. Let me get my water, hold on. Okay, I got it. Hi friends. Oh, it has been a really long time since I've done a stream on TikTok. Hi, welcome. Hello everyone. I'm Sam. I talk about something called Phase 2. This shit is crazy. If you've been following me for a while, you know it's like really interesting. Phase 2, alternative to like mainstream manifesting, blah, blah, blah. But it is deep. I've been learning and expanding, learning, whatever that means, and expanding so much recently. And it's just been like literally crazy. So I'm going to do a Q&A and just kind of talk about what's been happening, and you guys can ask questions and I'll answer as many as I can like usual. And I'll just, you know, kind of raise your awareness because this world isn't what it seems. That's so vague. Like, I don't even know where to start right now. I have no idea where to start right now. And it is funny because like, hold on a second. I need some chapstick. Okay, we're good. How do you improve your communication skills? You don't need to. Like, why? What do you think is going to be different if you were to improve your communication skills? Like, I don't get it. What's the issue? I literally don't know where to start with this. I have no idea. So I guess what I'll just say, I'll just put it out there. This experience is an illusion. It's a hologram. But it's not like, I'm not just saying that like for funsies because it like, oh yeah, you can create your experience because everything is a hologram. No, it literally is. Nothing is real. And the more you become aware of this, which is something that I've started to become aware of within like the past week or so, the more you actually see that. So my partner, Andre, can see these things perfectly. Maybe not perfectly. Perfectly isn't the right word. He can see the illusion, basically. He can see the fact that everything is forming and it's just energy. And we were at the mall yesterday because our friend Maria wanted to get some new clothes because she had just like thrown out or donated a lot of her stuff. We both did that recently. That's a story in itself. And she wanted some new t-shirts or shirts, whatever. And we get to the mall and Andre is laughing because as he's walking around, and this was the first time he's gone out in public in a really long time. He spends most of his time, if not all of his time, in our apartment, you know, like that. And as he's out with us, what he said was that the people that he was looking at were like ghosts. He could see almost right through them. And they just didn't have any life energy in them, even though they appeared to be real people. They were like phantoms. That was how he described them. And I thought that was interesting because I saw everything normally, right? Hey, welcome. By the way, this is a Q&A, so y'all can ask me any questions you feel like, and I do my best to answer all of them. I'm just kind of talking right now, telling a story. But yeah, everything seemed normal to me until we got to this restaurant that I wanted to go to because I was starving. And hey, and so we like order the food. Maria is getting this headache, and Andre is laughing again because he's still looking around and seeing all these like fake people. But our waitress happened to be real. She just didn't realize she was real. And that's like the three different types. No, there's like 4 different types of people in this world. There's the people who are space fillers. There's the people who are what we call false positives. There are people who are asleep, and there are people who are awake. The 3 of us, Maria and Andre and I, are all awake, and we are waking up other people, basically. But there's people out there who are asleep and don't realize this. And so our waitress was someone who was asleep. So she wasn't a phantom. She had energy to her, but she wasn't aware that this world isn't real, basically. Hey, Kendall Roy. Hey, Leslie. Phase 2 crew in the hizzle. Big fucking moves. This is about something called Phase 2. If it resonates, like if you feel something about it, stay. But if you don't feel anything about what I'm saying, you might want to go because this is a very involved conversation. What do I think about Joe Dispenza? I actually don't really think about Joe Dispenza that much. But he's cool. Like I think his work is really interesting. Also, although very complicated. So whatever, he's fine. Do you do meditation to open your awareness? If by meditation you mean feeling your feelings, yes. However, there is no specific meditation that I could recommend you do. Like I don't do any type of like third eye meditation. I don't do astral projection. I don't do, the breathwork meditation. That's all so fucking complicated. You really just have to sit and feel your feelings. That's what I do. Oh, hey, Ms. I connect so much with your words. Thank you. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm glad to hear it. Okay. Let me see. I have a question. I keep feeling like I need to be going places and doing exciting things. Yeah, you're avoiding something. You're basically avoiding yourself. You need this constant distraction. Oh, I need to go somewhere. I need to plan something. I need to do something exciting because there's a feeling that you're not wanting to feel. And I can relate to that and I can recognize it because that was me. I was constantly doing stuff. Oh, I gotta go run errands today. I gotta go get this today. I gotta do that today. Oh, I want to do this today and that today. And then when I ran out of things to do, I was like kind of forced to sit with myself and I realized how bored I was. But the boredom was really just me not appreciating my experience. And when I say appreciate my experience, I mean appreciating the fact that my experience is me. So it's not like sitting around and being like, oh, I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for my food. This is all me. This is all me. Like nothing exists outside of me. That's the appreciation I'm referring to. You're avoiding that. You tell people we're eternal souls having a human experience. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Can you recommend resources to understand what I'm saying? Sort of. We wrote a book called Quantum Networking that can help you. So I would recommend that. And I would also recommend a book called Busting Loose from the Money Game by Robert Scheinfeld. So those two resources I would start with. Our book, Quantum Networking, and Busting Loose from the Money Game. Both books. Quantum Networking is available via the link in my bio if you want to check that out. Like I'm judging myself staying at home and doing nothing. Yeah, you're avoiding it. There's a feeling associated with staying home and doing nothing. Probably a feeling like I'm missing out. I have FOMO. I'm, wasting my time. Those are all just stories. It all comes down to energy that you're not willing to allow yourself to experience. And so you keep running back into it and it causes you to keep feeling like you have to go out and do something. And so you run back into the energy, you go out and do something, and then you got to do something. Yeah. Go lay down and feel your feelings. Feel your feelings being present. Yes, I know the book, The Power of Now. I don't think I've read it, but it's one of those books that I'm familiar with through my work, essentially. What work? But yeah, feel your feelings and be present. Hey, Adele. Good to see you. Big fucking move. So those unaware are those unaware of that fact. Yes, the asleep people are the ones who they have energy to them. They have like life. It's kind of hard to describe. There are people who are space fillers. There are people who kind of can trick you into thinking they are asleep because they know how to talk about this, but they don't have any energy associated with them. And then there are people who are asleep who just don't realize. They basically can be awake, but they're not there yet. They haven't become aware yet. Okay. Why does your house being messy have to mean anything about you? It literally means nothing about you, Sophie. But you can make it mean something. You could tell yourself, oh, I'm so fucking lazy. I'm so gross. I'm such a slob. But that does nothing but make you feel like shit. But you keep doing that, or if you do that, it's because you enjoy the energetic rush that it gives you, telling yourself that you're a fucking slob. Or whatever. It doesn't mean anything about you. It's just an experience. Okay. If nothing exists outside of you and another person exists in the same room as you, how does it work? Well, the other person is you and you're the other person. Nothing exists outside of you means everything that you're perceiving is happening inside of you and you're just projecting it outwards. So the other person is you who created another version of yourself to interact with inside of yourself. This experience would be very boring if there were no other people. And so we created other people to interact with, to serve us, to do things for us, to take up space, the people at the back of the restaurant, the people in the crowd at a sports game, the people who whatever. We created other people to interact with. And some of those people are also aware, and some of those people are not. Some of those people are sleeping. Some of those people serve no purpose other than to just take up space. They're all your creation, though. And the people who are aware and asleep created you too. It's just that they may or may not be aware that they did so. Okay. Can you please explain what is phase 2? I don't quite understand. Phase 2 is essentially like the next step above normal human experience, like the asleep version of the human experience, where you just do everything that everyone else wants you to do. You follow the instructions, you follow the law, you are a good law-abiding citizen, whatever. All that shit, all that made-up bullshit with all rules and consequences, that's phase 1. So phase 2 is when you realize it's all made up and you start to wake up. There's infinite phases. Phase 2 is where you start to realize this isn't real. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Adele. That's sweet. Francis Corals. There's a saying that the place you live in is a reflection of how your head is. Yeah, that's just a saying. It's literally just a saying. It's a story. You can live in a messy house and it doesn't say anything about you. It's literally just an experience. Okay, yes, the second book is called Busting Loose from the Money Game. Busting Loose from the Money Game. Other people creating us. Yes, there are other people creating you. This is a concept called Tangled hierarchy. It's extremely difficult to understand, and I don't think anyone actually understands it because in science, in quantum mechanics, that's where this concept is from, Tangled hierarchy. So it's like, who is the creator? Who is, if I created you and you created me, which came first? Did you create me or did I create you? That's Tangled hierarchy. Essentially, what's really happening is we're all just one consciousness. So consciousness is like the puppeteer and the puppets at the same time. I'm like a puppet for consciousness, and I'm also the puppeteer. I am consciousness, and I'm consciousness experiencing itself through other people, which are also consciousness. Do you see how like it's all tied together and it just appears to be different? So consciousness created me, you, everyone else who's perceiving each other. And the people who are asleep or awake are also consciousness perceiving each other, but they may not be aware of it. So we created each other and we're the same, but we're also different experiences. Okay. Do I look kind of sad? No, I'm probably just like, I don't know. I'm not sad as much as I used to be because I've felt a lot of my feelings recently. But yeah, I get that a lot. I'm actually not from Earth. Here's another really interesting thing about our experience here. Yeah, you're welcome, Teggy. Another really interesting thing about our experience here is that there are only about 500 humans, like real native to Earth humans. Only 500. And the other ones, like all the other people who are asleep or awake, I'm not counting the like NPCs or the people who just take up space. I'm counting the people who are asleep or awake. Other people come from different places. Like Marimilia is from a planet or a place called Tiamat. I don't know the name of where I'm from. I've just seen it. And this probably sounds like literally insane. But everything about like the Men in Black movies, that's all real. It's not just like fiction. I will say that the like mind eraser gadgets that they use, those aren't really a thing. But the idea that there are aliens or other beings hiding in plain sight around us is not fiction. So, yeah. It's pretty crazy. But these are the things that I've been becoming aware of. Like it's literally been an insane experience. And it can be really heavy at times because, like, for Andre, I was talking about this earlier when I was describing our experience at the mall. For Andre, he can see that nothing is real except for the people who are asleep or awake. Those are the only things that have substance in his perception of reality. Everything else looks like a video game that's loading. Like it's like pixelated or fuzzy, or you can see it coming together. It doesn't look solid, which is really crazy. I'm not at that point yet. I see everything as solid. But it was really interesting when we went to the mall yesterday, because when we went to that restaurant, when the food came out, I felt like I was looking at like plastic food, like from a toy kitchen. It was really, really weird. This was one of my favorite restaurants, and the food there before I gained this awareness was really good. I loved it. That was why I wanted to go back. And then this time, yesterday, it was like, what even is this? It looks half-assed. It looks like it's not put together all the way. It was the strangest thing, because to Andre and Marimilia, the food looked normal. But like I said, Marimilia was having this headache because of like her perception of the experience, and Andre just didn't see the people, right? That were all around. And I saw the people, it was just my food looked weird. So that was a really crazy experience. And it's just an example of some of the things that I've been experiencing lately as my awareness increases. And so another thing I've learned, and I'm going to answer some more questions in a minute after I finish talking about this. Another thing that I've become aware of is the fact that I'm here. I came to have this experience, like the current one I'm having right now, to wake people up, essentially. I came to have a social media following and bring people from being asleep to being awake. And that's how, like, that's the point of my whole following here. And I kind of, it's interesting because I never really understood why I was doing social media. I always told myself, like, I didn't like people. I don't really like that much attention, all this shit, you know? And, yeah, so I'm here to wake people up, essentially. Hi, Brianna. I'm a Gemini, Chandra. User 231. I was listening to the networking audiobook after a long break today, and here I find you as well. Oh, that's funny. Well, thanks for checking it out. I appreciate that. Teggy, do you believe in ghosts? I've had many experiences with them. Are they part of consciousness? Yeah, actually I do, because of the fact that everything is energy. Like, literally everything is energy. So a ghost, in my opinion, would be energy that you can still, like, perceive. Like, you're always perceiving energy. This wall is energy, this tripod, my camera is energy, I'm energy, you're energy, everything's energy. So a ghost is like, it's still energy, right? And when people die, they don't just like go away. They're not just gone. They just go to the other side. This is like a dream state. And then I think Alan Watts said this, he's like, what if you died and then you woke up and you realized you were asleep the whole time? Essentially, that's like the thing. That's kind of what happens. So when you die, you basically congregate. Essentially, it's like a waiting room for a video game with all these other people, the souls. And you can come back into any game, the human game, a different game on a different planet, different experience, whatever, anytime. You're free to play the game as many times as you want to play it. But yeah, ghosts, I definitely don't doubt that ghosts are a thing. Because it's all within your imagination anyway. Everything appears to be outside of you, but it's all like, consciousness is like a collective. So consciousness, which everyone and everything is, contains all of the information and the knowing from all living things everywhere. So that doesn't just stop at like ghosts. That includes things like dragons, aliens, giants, fairies, vampires, like, none of that stuff is just fiction. That stuff has to do with different dimensions, different realities, and it's part of consciousness. So it's not like they're fake. They're not just totally made up. It's just you can't perceive them. You're not aware of them. Yeah. That was a really long answer. Her cheer here. If we're all one consciousness, why does almost everyone consider themselves special or unique? Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? I mean, I really understand your question. What's wrong with that? Doesn't mean, like, just because we're all consciousness, that doesn't mean you aren't special and unique. You can be whatever you want to be. It's just stories anyway. Saying I'm special and I'm unique is a story. You're attempting to convince yourself of something. What really matters is how you feel. And you don't know how everyone else feels. You just know how you feel. So if you're judging yourself for perceiving yourself as being special or unique and like, why does everyone think this way? You're really just making up a bunch of stories. Yeah. How do you know that you're not detaching from reality? Well, what is reality? What is reality? Like, is your experience reality? Are you the one who knows what everything is? How do you know that? How do you know anything? I just know how I feel. And I can tell you that my feelings lately have expanded immensely. There's this saying I like to say, you can always feel the truth. You may notice this. When someone lies to you, you don't feel anything. If you believe it, it's because logically you accepted the lie. But if someone lies to you, you feel nothing. So if you're listening to my stream right now and you're feeling things and you're like, oh my gosh, like, what is this feeling I'm getting right now? It's because what I'm saying is resonating with you. Yeah. But if you feel nothing, this isn't for you. If you're listening to my stream and you feel nothing, it's not necessarily that I'm lying. It's just that you're not resonating with it. You might be an NPC. No offense. It's not a bad thing. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. That's true for me. You're a great teacher. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Unbridled space cowboy. I'm awake. What now? Y'all yell at sleeping people? No. What? No. You don't have to yell at sleeping people. Sleeping, I don't mean sleeping like, I mean sleeping like not aware. Thank you, cycle chic nowhere. Okay. What's your opinion on everyone wanting a tip now? I'm way beyond that shit. Okay. What does it mean to fully appreciate yourself, Ms. Fromm? To fully appreciate yourself is to feel all your feelings. To never, maybe not never, to become aware of when you're avoiding feeling a feeling. So I was talking to someone on the stream earlier about this. They asked about like always going and doing exciting things and feeling like they have to be traveling constantly and doing stuff. That's a form of distraction. And what you're distracting yourself from are your feelings. So that is a lack of self-appreciation. Fully appreciating yourself, very simply, is feeling all of your feelings. Taking as much time as you need to just be with yourself and not negotiating with yourself. Meaning making sure that your experience comes first. You don't put yourself off for someone else. You don't distract yourself just for the sake of being distracted. You make sure that your feelings are of your utmost priority and you feel them. That's self-appreciation at its fullest. And it goes beyond just feelings. Like that, it is appreciating yourself when you feel your feelings. But further than that, when you feel your feelings, what you eventually realize or become aware of is the fact that your feelings are generating your entire experience. You're creating your entire experience. And that awareness is also self-appreciation. Okay. Thank you, Scotty Roo. All right. You're welcome here, her cheer here. Okay. Chili beans. How can I be whatever I want to be? It's all about the feeling. So one thing that people are encouraged to do, and I will point out that when I talk about this, I'm referring to tricks that I played on myself. And collectively, we've all played on ourselves. The idea that you can convince yourself verbally of something, like affirmations, is like, it's like running in circles. It doesn't actually do anything. Here's the thing. Your experience can change like this. It literally does not have to take any time. It can change instantly. But the idea that it does take time is bullshit. It's made up. It's meant to make you feel limited and stuck. And affirmations, what people always say about them is that you have to repeat them. It takes time. It's affirmations work through repetition. That's bullshit. You don't have to repeat anything. What matters is that you become aware of how it would feel to be what you want to be. And that awareness of that feeling exists right now. So if I were to sit back and say something like, or maybe not say it, but acknowledge it. I'm just saying it so you guys know what's going on inside my head, right? If I were to sit back and be like, what would it feel like to be a social media superstar, or whatever, it could be anything. What would it feel like to be a social media superstar? A feeling would start to generate in my body. And that's me becoming whatever I want to be. Now, this out here means nothing. It's literally an illusion, and it can change instantly. So when you become aware of the feeling of the experience first, that's when you harness the power that you have to create something else, or to allow yourself to experience something else, because everything is already created. You don't have to create that experience. It exists for you, and you're simply not aware of it right now. And the reason you're not aware of it is because you're not familiar with the feeling of it. It's that simple. No need to reprogram yourself. No need to fucking hypnotize yourself. No need to do any of that shit. That's a waste of time. It's very complicated. It has everything to do with how you feel, and nothing to do with what you try to tell yourself, because it's just you trying to convince yourself when you're verbalizing it. Teggy, I had a friend that would wake up with wounds from the demon attacks and her sleep paralysis. Interesting. So that's her creating that experience. That's cool though. And maybe not cool. I don't know what the word is, but that's pretty interesting. Okay, Cruiser. Awareness changes perception, and energy you seek will come to you. Yeah. Okay, Cole Stevenson. Any tips on snapping out of it? I keep coming back to my ex / feelings of unworthiness. Because you like feeling unworthy. Your ex gives you an emotional response, an emotional reaction, and you also get a rush out of telling yourself shit about feeling unworthy. That's why you keep doing it. So when you remove your emotional response from it, it just goes away. It's the same thing as the affirmations. You can't possibly maybe you can, it's just gonna take a long time, who knows. The idea that you have to be I am worthy, 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 I am worthy to finally feel worthy is ridiculous. It takes way longer than it needs to, and it very much suggests, I'm just on a tangent right now. Essentially, the reason why you keep going back to that shit is because you love it. You love that, oh my God, I'm so worthless. And then at the same time, you distract yourself from those feelings. So you go out drinking, or you fuck another chick, or you talk to a bunch of different women, or you get in a fight, who knows. So you keep coming back to the feelings, you keep distracting yourself, you keep coming back to the feeling, you keep distracting yourself, and it never goes away, because you don't just sit and feel the feelings until you just get bored of them. It's that simple. When you sit and feel your feelings until you get bored of them and they just go away by themselves, you let go of that experience. It's literally right in front of everyone's face. Everything is hidden in plain sight. Everything. But we are so good at bullshitting ourselves and convincing ourselves that it's complicated, and it's harder than that, because that's the game. This is the game of limitation. Yeah. You're welcome. Hurt your hair. Okay. Brianna, I watched Muddy Millia's YouTube video today, and she mentioned you had a toaster experience. Yeah, I can talk about the toaster. Okay. So I went to Target. We wanted a toaster, basically, because we don't have one. And I went to Target, and I do this exercise when I go shopping where I allow my feelings to tell me which item I should buy. And so I'm standing there looking at the toasters. I have my eyes closed, and I'm just allowing feelings to come up if my hand gets near the toaster that I'm supposed to buy. And sure enough, I hover my hand over this one toaster, and I get this strong feeling. And so I'm okay, this is the toaster. That's the one I take home, right? It looks normal, whatever. I pull it out the box, I put it on the counter, I set it up, I plug it in, I put a piece of toast in, and I press it down, and it's not working. It'll heat up, but it won't stay down, so the toast just keeps popping back up. So essentially it's a broken toaster. And I'm like, this is fishy. This is fishy. Like, how did my feelings bring me or allow me? How did I create the experience of actually bringing home a broken toaster? Of all the toasters I could have bought, my feelings told me to pick this one, and it turned out to be a broken one. That's weird to me. And I'll be honest, I did have a conversation with the toaster, because remember, everything is consciousness. Everything is me. And this is the same idea that Will Smith responded to. You guys may remember that if you saw it. The whole, like, you can ask any object what it thinks about you. Yes, I was kind of like communicating with myself through the toaster. And the toaster, me, through the toaster, basically reflected back to me that I thought I was broken. And so I'm perceiving this toaster as broken, and it's reflecting back to me that I think I'm broken. And at the same time, I was going through this experience where I felt like I wasn't doing anything right. I just felt like, okay, I'm not on the right track. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to do anything. I'm broken. I need to fix myself, essentially. Fortunately, I got over that. Today I feel a lot better, but I haven't tried the toaster yet. And I just have this feeling that when I go try to use this toaster again, it'll work perfectly. But I'll keep you updated on that. Okay. No, NPCs, 832, NPCs don't wake up. They literally just take up space and then they disappear. That's it. They serve their purpose and they disappear. You can communicate with them, you can talk to them, but they can never have an emotional conversation with you. There are some people in life who you can talk to and converse with, and it's always like surface level. It's always small talk. If you ask them a deep question or an emotional question, they will have nothing for you. It's because they're literally just space fillers. They're not real people, essentially. It's not a bad thing. Again, it's not like it's not discriminatory. It's not derogatory. It's your creation. Yeah. There is no such thing as bad energy. There's no such thing as bad energy. Someone said something about like bad energy, absorbing it. There's no such thing. That's just you being a victim of the idea of bad energy. You created it anyway, and you're just judging it and labeling it. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Hey, Von Bucks Aplenty, long time no see. Hey, Eating Grace. Okay. I'm awake now, wondering what to do to go back to sleep. You can't. Unfortunately, you can't go back to sleep. First step to earn money online. That's random. Yeah, that's a very long conversation. We're gonna skip that one, sorry. Estefan Shop. What if I feel sad inside or stressed and I can't get the feeling of what I want to have? You're telling yourself that. You're literally making yourself feel miserable by being like, I can't have it. I can't have it. Like, to be completely fucking honest with you, you're fucking lying to yourself, because it makes you feel something when you pretend that you're this pathetic little thing that can't have what you want. Everything, it exists for you right now. There's nothing that doesn't exist for you. There's nothing you can't have. But if you sit around and tell yourself, I can't fucking have it, you're just continuing to observe yourself not having it, and so you continue to not have it, right? The only thing you can create are limitations. You don't create the experience you want. That exists already, and the only thing you create are the limitations that prevent you from being able to perceive it right now. You lie to yourself, you ignore your feelings, you create these imaginary bullshit obstacles, and you're like, oh no, I can't do it. None of that is real either. But you continue to create it to make you feel limited and to hide the fact that you are limitless. To hide the fact that everything exists for you already. So you basically just have to admit to yourself that you like feeling pathetic and powerless and undeserving, unworthy, incapable, all that shit. It's all made up, but you get a rush from it, and that's why you keep repeating it. Unbridled Space Cowboy. You learn feeling fulfilled, and the higher the frequency you return to the feeling determines its naturalness. The higher the frequency... this is very complicated. I don't think I understand your question. You don't learn anything. And there's no frequency. Like, the idea of there being some kind of frequency that you can tap into is like, it's just complicated. I don't teach anything about frequency because I don't think about frequency. The only thing I do is feel my feelings, and my feelings guide me. Like, literally the other day I woke up in the morning and the first thing that popped into my mind was getting a rug. I've been wanting a rug for underneath my couch in the living room. I've been wanting a rug. And that morning I woke up and I was like, rug today. And so I'm like, okay. And I didn't know where it was. It just so happened, though, that during the course of my day, I happened to park next to a rug store completely unintentionally, walked into the rug store after I noticed that it was there, and my rug was there. That's it. You know, you can feel amazing all the time if you allow yourself to do so, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you are automatically going to feel amazing all the time by getting to some kind of frequency. Yeah. Okay. How do I know the feeling of any experience I want? It's the feeling that comes up when you ask yourself, how would it feel? If you question that, then that's your problem. Like, if you ask yourself, how would it feel to do X, and a feeling comes up, and then you're like, no, it's not that. Why would you say that? Like, why would you question it? You have no idea. Just let it be whatever it is. You just ask, how would it feel to experience whatever? And the feeling that comes up is the feeling. Ms. Fromm, is being aware, seeing the essence of who you are and that you are abundant and complete? That's part of it. Yeah, it's definitely part of it. Awareness is everything, really. You do get to a point where you're like, I am abundant and I'm complete. And that's just a fraction. Yeah. The more frequently you return to the feeling fulfilled, the more natural that feeling is. I guess so. I don't know. Perhaps. That's not something I do. Unbridled Space Cowboy. So I'm not really sure. I can't give you a certain answer. How to create more sales for your business? Just feeling the emotion of getting them? Oh boy. Money. Money is like, it's like a topic in itself because people put so much fucking energy into it. But at the same time, money is the easiest experience to shift. I was very skeptical for a long time because I was very broke for a long time. Even when my partner Andre was trying to teach me this shit, I didn't believe it. And I continued to be very broke. But yeah, so the thing about more sales, why do you want more sales? Like, what do you think that's going to do for you? Are your bills covered? If your bills are covered already, then all you need to do is appreciate the fact that everything is covered. If you're not, like, there's a bunch of different elements to this. Are you doing something that you enjoy doing, or are you doing it for the money? If you're doing it for the money, there's no wonder. It's like, no wonder your sales aren't increasing. It's because you're doing one thing to get a different result. However, if your business is something that you're motivated to do, you're excited to do, it feels fun and natural and just like joyful to you, then your sales will increase effortlessly if you appreciate your experience. That's the simple answer, essentially. Yes. Feels like nowadays the self-loathing is so default. I'm not as good as them. Yeah, because Lakobos the Greek, you just love telling yourself that shit. You get so excited. Oh, I'm a piece of shit. You just love that fucking emotional rush. Feel the fucking feelings. Eventually, you'll get to a point where you're like, I'm literally doing this to myself. And you'll laugh about it, and then you'll get bored, and then something else will happen. Hi, Happy Lotus. I love your post about ripping money, and I love the the comments were so funny. Like, I admit that I did get a little bit triggered by some of them because I really want people to understand how simple money is. Like, my life, that rug that I bought a couple days ago was like an $8,500 rug. It's the most expensive thing I've ever purchased in one go. And it was just like effortless. The number is irrelevant, but the fact that like my experience has changed from, I was literally like fucking sobbing because I paid the rent and all my money was gone, to being like, oh yeah, let me just pop into the store really quick and whip out my card and just get this fucking rug without even knowing how much it fucking costs. I only looked at the receipt afterwards. That all changed in the span of like 6 months. It doesn't take a long time. So the money thing is something it's made such a difference in my life. And I really want people to understand it. And I understand that I can't force that. But yeah, the comments definitely triggered me about that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, let me catch up on some questions here. Nice. Doc Firo. Okay. The same only bangers lifestyle. The same thing happened with my mic. 1 year in Mexico, it didn't work. I go back to New York City and it's working. Interesting. Yeah. This world, technology, these little things, they're not as like, they're not as predictable as we think they are. Like a toaster that appears to be broken may not actually be broken. In fact, it probably isn't. Nothing is really broken. It's just a story you tell yourself. Monel Espiritu. How about those people we have relationships with? Can they be NPCs? They can be. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Like in a family unit, there can be some people who are sleeping and some people who are NPCs. The people who are NPCs are likely to be the ones that you don't really have a total connection with. Maybe like you enjoy seeing them and maybe you have some fun with them, but the like connection, the emotional connection isn't really there. At least not the same as the other people. So yes, NPCs are everywhere. It's okay. You don't have to go out and find people who are NPCs and, yeah. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying. Michael Govia, are you basically saying we're in the Matrix? Yes. It's not like the Matrix, it's your Matrix. Everyone has their own Matrix. And the Matrix is the stories and the bullshit you tell yourself to make you feel limited. So once you get past all that, or maybe not all of it, once you start to get past it and you realize that and you start dropping your limitations, because they'll always come up. There's always going to be more limitations. That's the point of this game, being limited. You realize that you're creating all of it. And when you realize you're creating all of it, you also realize you can create or experience anything. It's pretty fun. What about toxic people? Do we create that? Yes. Everything that you experience is your creation. Literally everything. Serve from overflow. Toxic people are your creation. They are a reflection of some part of you that you've judged, cut off from yourself. That doesn't mean you have to love them, but it does mean that to release yourself from that experience, you need to feel your feelings and accept that it's your creation and drop the judgment. A lot of the time when you do that and you stop judging people like that, they just change. Like they stop being toxic or they disappear completely. This whole idea of like having to set boundaries with people, that only exists or matters if you continue to be a victim of those people. When you realize that you're creating the toxic people, you don't need boundaries because you drop the energy that you're putting into creating them being toxic. Does that make sense? Hi, Dreams of Sunshine. Which of your books do you recommend to start? I really recommend you start with Quantum Networking. That is our original book. It is phenomenal. Like even I still read it. And yeah, it'll explain everything you need to know to start out with phase 2. And afterwards, you can read a book called Busting Loose from the Money Game to kind of like reflect that back to you. They go really well together. Busting Loose from the Money Game is not my book. It was written by someone named Robert Scheinfeld. But it's funny because like he's also someone who understands this stuff and teaches it. What if you're seeing your name everywhere? Well, you're creating that. You're welcome. Hey, 25AC. Yes, Ms. Fromm. We are complete as we are. Yes. There's no healing you need to do. There's no fixing, no changing. You don't have to be different to get a certain experience or to create or allow a certain experience. That's a limitation. It's a limiting story that you've accepted. The idea that you can't have $1 million months if you're still healing or all that bullshit, it's not true. It's just not true. Okay. People don't celebrate these moments like they should. What do you mean, Tony? I mean, I definitely agree with you. Appreciation, yeah. I'm just like, which moment? What are you talking about? Rug moments. Facts. The rug moment, you're right. I can definitely bring more appreciation to that because it was It's so funny because I literally just bought a rug. That's it. I purchased a rug, and it was one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had. And yeah, it sounds crazy, like you had to be there, but yeah, it's a top-notch experience. Her cheer here. I grew up basing my identity on what turned out to be ADHD symptoms. Am I ADHD or is ADHD part of me? You might not like this answer, but ADHD is a story. It's made up. Yeah. So all health issues are limitations, essentially. They're basically stories that we tell ourselves to make ourselves feel limited in some way. Oh, I have ADHD, which means I can't focus. Why do you keep telling yourself that? You accepted that from someone else. Or maybe you Googled your symptoms and then Google told you had ADHD and then you accepted that information. What you've done is basically created an identity for yourself that's based in stories, and all stories are limiting. If you stop, and I get why people do this. Like, I'm not trying to shame anyone. I'm not trying to invalidate anyone. All I'm saying is that that's the whole point of this experience, to limit ourselves, to tell ourselves bullshit stories, just to like feel a certain way and to pretend we're not the limitless beings that we all are. We came here to experience limitation. We came here to play the game of not being able to create anything at the snap of a finger. We came to see what it's like to have to struggle and work hard and do certain things to get other things, and like be stuck and have illnesses and have trouble focusing. We came to see what that's like, but none of it's real. And because none of it's real, you can surpass it. You can get past it, and then you'll have new limitations that are different. It's all fun. Like, none of this is supposed to be horrible. It's supposed to be fun. It's a game. Yes. Monella Spiritu. Just like when we think of tasting something, our brain tells us, yes, it's a story. Taste is a story too, exactly. How many humans with no soul exist? I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I think, and I'm guessing here, but I think the majority of them are like fillers, phantoms, so to speak. Like I said earlier, there's only about 500 real humans. In all likelihood, the majority of you here, if not all of you here who are asleep, are not from Earth originally. You're aliens. You're from another planet, right? If I say that and you feel something about it, it's true. I've seen where I'm from, which is pretty cool. It doesn't have a name, but I've seen it, and I've seen what I look like in my non-human form, which is pretty funny. How do you change the money relationship? There is no money relationship. Hold on, I'm just going back to some comments here. Hold on. Okay, here, Estefan Shop. There's no money relationship because money is you. Money is not outside of you, it is you. And so, because money is you, whatever your money experience is currently, you are creating. You are actively creating your money experience. So if you struggle with money, you're creating the experience of struggling with money. And you do that because money is like the most exciting limitation of them all. It's like one of the main attractions of the human experience, money. It's not like all other planets have money. Some of them don't. But here on Earth, money is like the main game that we come here to play. Limitation game. And so a lot of people, like I said earlier, put a lot of energy and emotion into money and into having to work for it and struggle for it. And even when they get to the point where they maybe have money, like they're wealthy or they aren't struggling anymore, they still feel like they have to work for it. And so you're still like slaving to money, and money is an illusion just like anything else. Once you get past that, and this is what my book Quantum Cash is about, how money is like so funny. Like, the way to escape the money game, like the way to have financial freedom, so to speak, is not to accumulate money or find a way to make more money. It's to stop making money. And when you stop trying to make money, money just shows up. It is just there for you because it's supposed to be. If you're limiting your money experience, it's because you're putting limitations on it. If you remove those limitations, the money is always there. It's just always there. I experienced that with the rug. I didn't know that my fucking rug was an $8,500 rug. I just paid for it. The money was in my account. It was approved. It went through perfectly, one try. Fuck. Like, I had no idea how much money was in my account, but I was able to walk away with the rug. And I'm not even going to check my account now because I know that when I pay my rent at the end of the month, the money's going to be there for that too. This isn't even like exaggeration. This shit, it just expands. And I get excited about it because money used to be like the biggest sore spot in my life. But yeah, again, if you resonate with what I'm saying, it's because it's true. So you don't have to change your money relationship. You basically stop seeking money and do what you feel motivated to do. And then money supports you. Does hate also count as an emotional connection regarding family and NPCs? Hate. Yeah, I would say so. So hate is like energy, but you're judging it as hatred. All emotions are just energy. There's no positive or negative emotions. We just feel energy and then we label it one way or another. This is why positivity and negativity, I don't talk about that. I don't have any content that's like how to be more positive or how to stop being negative because it literally doesn't matter. It's just energy. Are you feeling the energy or are you not feeling the energy? Yeah. So if you have a hatred relationship, emotional, energetic relationship with someone, yes, that's still an emotional connection. Deluxe Witch. When you do your I'm willing to admit exercise, do you ever lean into the theater of it? Fuck yeah, I do. Sometimes I totally masturbate when I do my statements exercise. I will literally come up with this great scenario that's like erotic and I'll totally get off to it. Yeah, it's fun. It doesn't have to be sad. It doesn't have to be painful. Sometimes it's literally fucking hilarious. Sometimes it's hot. And I'm saying things like, I'm willing to admit I enjoy the feeling of not being good enough, you know? And I'm like, oh, it's so hot. Yes. The NPC thing is so evident in my dating life. Like one guy I know we barely talk, but there's so much emotion versus another guy. Yeah. Yeah. If you ask someone a question like, what matters to you? And that person is an NPC or a phantom, they won't have an answer for you. It's like, I don't know. Why do you ask? Yeah, everyone knows what matters to them. At least if you're awake, right? Or you're asleep. You're a soul, right? That's funny. NPCs, like the NPC stands for non-playable character. Yeah, non-playable character. It's a video game reference, but generally, like in our experience, an NPC is someone who is like a space filler. It's like the people who sit at the restaurant that you don't talk to them, you don't know who they are, you don't interact with them, but they just take up space. They don't really have a soul. They have no energy. They have no emotion. They may have like the illusion of emotion, but they don't actually have like a soul. So you sometimes see them and then you never see them again. Or you always see them looking the same. Or yeah, that's pretty much it. They just take up space. Positivity Jackie. So would you say it starts with dropping the thought of these toxic people to disconnect from the feeling? Yeah. Dropping the thought, realizing that you're just telling yourself stories. All thoughts and all words are stories. All stories are made up. All stories are bullshit. There's not anything you can say that is not a story. And the reason why is because language itself is a limitation. So I can say one thing and be completely misunderstood. Therefore, our connection is limited when I communicate with you through language. We can communicate in other ways, but when you use verbal language, there is always the potential for limitation. So yes, the first thing to do to disconnect from an experience is to stop telling yourself the stories, the words and the thoughts about that experience. 11th Element. Yes, I read that. Oh, no, I didn't read it. Andre read it, but that's by Robert Scheinfeld. Yeah. Victimize. Hey, Ronald. Lakabos the Greek. When I feel happy, I feel bad because I see others not happy. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's your perception and you're choosing sadness. Basically what's happening there is not that other people are unhappy. It's that you're seeing your sadness in them. And because you're not willing to share your happiness with yourself, you're not willing to share your happiness with them, essentially. And I can totally relate to that because that was me. I was very afraid to be a happy person because I thought that the people around me would feel bad. But when I actually was brave enough to be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to be happy for me. It's like everyone around me started being happier. It's because it's a reflection of you. There's nothing to be afraid of. Water break. Are you growing your hair out? I guess so. It just grows. I kind of wanted to get a haircut, but I haven't. I keep touching it. Andre SR bassist. Is it true that your subconscious is stronger than your... There's no subconscious and no conscious. This is a really big one, okay? The idea that we have a subconscious mind is a very, very sneaky way of continuing to victimize ourselves. Oh, my subconscious mind is programmed so that I'm broke. My subconscious mind is programmed for me to struggle with money. My subconscious mind is programmed for me to be afraid of dogs. Like, you're being a victim. You're just not saying that you're being a victim. And so that's one of the ways that we've really sneakily limited ourselves and created something that doesn't seem like it's victimizing us, but we still behave as if we are being victimized. So it's just a story. And what I would recommend is that you literally stop talking about your subconscious mind because it's not real. It's completely made up. Yeah. Only Bangers Lifestyle. Thank you so much for this. It's helping me today. I was having a mini mind crisis. Yeah, good. I'm glad. It's funny how all things are connected and you always get exactly what you need. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Cat. Do you use the process and the mini process? Not anymore. I used to. From Busting Loose? No. I used to use it all the time, but actually the statements exercise that I developed is a lot simpler. And so I use that one. Thank you, Amber. Can you elaborate on phase 2 for beginners? Yeah, phase 2 is basically like when you realize there's more to life than meets the eye. For me, like, let me give you an example. For me, when I realized, one of the clues that I came across that basically made me think there's something else going on here was water and the water usage. It's kind of random, but I was like, there are literally millions and billions of people using tons of water every single day, yet we never run out. There's no real water crisis that I've ever experienced. I've seen it on the news, but I wasn't there, you know? So how is it that all the people use all this water, but I've never personally experienced a water crisis? And how is it that there's always enough food? I hear about food shortages, but I've never experienced one. Like, how is it that people still get healthy, but they didn't take the medicine that was supposed to fix them? Like, these little clues, basically, eventually you get to this point, if you're asleep, where you realize life isn't what it seems. And then you become aware of phase 2, which is what is happening right now. And phase 2 is where you realize it's actually all literally an illusion. My hair is annoying me right now. Star seeds, aliens. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, okay, here we go. I didn't feel anything about it. Okay, great. Oh, 25 AC? You might be a human then? Like one of the 500 real native humans? Hey, new phase in life. I like your username. Thank you, Samuel Velasquez. I've been told that I'm good at streaming and explaining things. Yeah, I appreciate that. Amy Joyce, 99. How do we create a different experience in our exact reality? You become aware of it. And the way to become aware of a different experience is by letting go of all your emotional and story connections to your existing experience. So that means feeling your feelings and becoming aware of the bullshit stories that you keep telling yourself. So for example, let's say like you want to own a house and you live in an apartment. And the story is that you can't afford a house because of like the inflation and the fucking Fed and the banks and your credit score, all this bullshit stories, like everything's made up. You're like, okay, how do I know that any of that is true? I don't know that any of that is true. I'm just telling myself, okay, great, stories are aside. Feel your feelings. Oh, I have a lot of energy invested in wanting a house. Why do I want this house? Well, because I think it'll make my life better. How do I know that my life will be better when I have the house? I don't know. I'm assuming that my life will be better when I have a house. Okay. Do I really want a house? I don't know. Well, I appreciate the fact that I still have a roof over my head. Yeah, you know what? I'm good for now. I'm good for now in my apartment. And when you get to that point, who knows what could happen, but that's the point where if there is a house for you, which if you want a house, in all likelihood there is, that's when it pops into your experience. Wanting something is not having it. Wanting something and having that thing are two completely different experiences. We want things because we enjoy the experience of wanting. So for example, with the house, you want a house because you think it'll improve X, Y, and Z. But you're just telling yourself that. You don't know that for sure. And it's that wanting that keeps you in not having. Because once you have the house, you're not wanting the house anymore. And like I said before, wanting and having are two different experiences. Yeah. Thank you, Jonathan Brown. DDPM. So how can I feel worthy enough to get a job that pays? It's not about feeling worthy enough. It's literally just the stories you're telling yourself. And that's a story. How do I feel? The story is I'm not worthy enough to get a job that pays well, that I love. Or maybe that job doesn't exist for me. How do you know? How do you know? Someone else told you? So you accepted something from someone else? How do they know? Oh, it's just the job market sucks and we're being underpaid. Well, you created the job market and you created the pay rate. You're not a victim. You can't be a creator and a victim at the same time. And this is just kind of a little tangent here. This is why phase 2 is different than mainstream manifesting. Because in mainstream manifesting, there's a lot of talk about being a creator while simultaneously being a victim. So you only create the things you like, and you can create certain things, but you don't create other things. Your childhood abuse, no, you didn't create that. No, you didn't create that. You're a victim of that, but you can heal past it and create money. Like, that's being a victim and a creator at the same time, and that's why it doesn't work. That's why it doesn't work for people. So when you get past that whole victimhood mentality and you realize, you know what, I'm creating everything. And the fact that I don't have this job right now is my own creation. Why don't I have it? Well, I don't know. I'm just not aware of it. And does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. None of it's real anyway. Am I good with where I am now? Yeah, I can be good with where I am now. That's when it pops into your experience. Yeah. Anyway. Michael Govea, where did you learn all this stuff about being aliens and living in the game of limitations? That's a really interesting question. So it's kind of an involved answer. But here's the thing. Some of you may be familiar with Peter, my fiance Andre's mentor, who taught him about phase 2. I'm good. I'm just going to talk about it. Okay. So anyway, Peter, I won't confirm nor deny his membership, but there's this secret society, so to speak, called TLS. And TLS essentially is full of people who know these things. How do I know that they know them? They're very aware. Their awareness is very expanded. I'm not there yet. Andre is further along than I am. And Andre was actually invited to join TLS. But TLS essentially knows these things. And Andre knows them through Peter. And then Andre told me. You can actually see some videos about TLS on YouTube. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So Andre told me, and he learned from Peter, who may or may not have been involved with this secret society called TLS. Yeah. How to remove the limitations. You stop telling the stories and you remove the emotional response. It's very simple. You realize that the stories you're telling yourself are all bullshit. They're made up. You don't know if they're true. You're just telling yourself they're true. And you feel your feelings. And when you feel your feelings, eventually you get to a point where they go away and you get bored of them. And once you don't have the emotional response anymore because you felt it and you stop telling the stories, your limitations are gone. And then you find new ones. But essentially you move past the ones you have already. Estefan Shop, what if I want to have a lot of money in my account? So you can create that. There's nothing to say you can't. Money is something that expands naturally. The same way that you as the being experiencing this experience expands naturally when you become more aware, money expands too. You don't have to look at it. You don't have to check it every day. But what you'll find, and this has been my experience as well as Andre's experience and Peter's experience, is if you just let it grow, not just grow like through investments, but you become aware that it's not real, it just expands. You'll wake up one day with 10K in your account, and then like a couple months later you check and there's 50K. And it's like, where the fuck did this come from? I have no idea. Like, it's that simple. It's that fucking easy. It's just that no one is willing to believe it because you're too busy putting all your energy into money being hard, being a victim of money. Yeah. Well, aliens itself is like not the right word for it because the word itself has a lie in it. A lie. So aliens are a lie. They're not... Using the word aliens kind of suggests that Earth is like... No, hold on. I was listening to something. The word alien suggests that Earth is like the central hub and everything else is just wrong or weird. But that's not necessarily true. Earth is the same as any other planet or any other place. It's just an illusion. It's just an experience. So aliens isn't the right word. It's just the word that I will use to suggest or to imply that there are people who aren't from here. And if you don't want to like accept that or be open to it, that's fine. Literally, if you feel something about it, you resonate with it. And if you don't, you just don't. I'm going to go pretty soon because I've been on here for an hour. But I'll take a couple more questions. If I want to move into a nice apartment without a job and I only have the first month's rent, should I? Yeah, why not? Are you telling yourself it's not going to work out? Why would you tell yourself it's not going to work out? How do you know it's not going to work out? You don't know. You have no fucking idea, but why wouldn't you be able to do that? You're just limiting yourself. Do it. Or don't. I don't care. Yeah. I found my 2023 personality. It's based on one song, but it's such a fun vibe. That's great. Scores galore. Is determinism inherently an NPC belief system? I don't really know. I'm not really sure exactly what the definition of determinism is. But I will say that NPCs don't have belief systems. Because a belief, well, they may have belief system. The thing that NPCs don't have is energy. They don't have energy. They can talk and they can have opinions, but a belief system is something that's based in like energy, you know, like emotion and putting your energy into something. So I don't know, it's kind of a tricky question to answer. I have not read tons of Neville Goddard. I'm familiar with him. I find his teachings very complicated and hard to understand as someone who was raised as an atheist. Yeah. My name is Rico. How to release the tight feeling in chest from fear? You feel it. You literally just sit there and feel it. You sit there with no distractions and you feel it. It's that simple. It will go away. Yeah. Am I too late? Oh, too late to my stream? You're never too late. Time isn't real. I know for a fact I'm supposed to be rich. I feel like it's going to happen any day now. Okay, good. Why are you waiting? You're literally creating the experience of not being rich by waiting. Why aren't you rich now? You are. You're just telling yourself you're not. Okay. Is TLS the Labyrinth Society? I don't know if it has a different name, but there are more than one secret society. Yeah. It's, I don't know if it's the same one. Okay. Yes, exactly. Creating alignment. The government, it's just all in your mind. People just give it so much power with the stories they tell about it and the emotion they put into it. It's not real. It's literally your limitation. Have you ever seen government? Like, okay, you see this building that represents the government, but have you seen the government? No, you see people who talk about stuff. But were you there? No, you saw it pictures on the media. How do you know any of it's real? You're just putting energy into these ideas that you're getting from other people without questioning it. It's exactly right. All right, guys, I'm going to go. Sorry if I missed your question, but I will do another stream sometime, and I'll post this on YouTube also so you can watch it again. Yes, only bangers lifestyle, you are being a victim. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out. I'll see you later, okay? Go check out Quantum Networking if you haven't already. It's linked in my bio. That's our book about phase 2. It'll change your whole fucking life. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you next time.